10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. You may now select your heroes. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Prepare for battle.
So, this whole mess is all your fault?
Before you see the Tinker travels or blink, before one of those major items comes out, you have to pressure out the lanes. You cannot allow Nothing to Say to have a comfy enough time. Once he does build up, he's going to be very active, as you mentioned. He doesn't tend to go too far beyond just the travels blink. Even then, I think just with the travels, he tends to join the fights already. So that's something that IG has to be very conscious about with their own timings and has to really invest in. They've got to keep an eye on the Tinker, protect Emo, and shove out the lanes before Tinker gets a mid-game start.
Seconds to battle.
Oh, yeah.
The battle begins.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. Yeah, early on, I'd say first 3 levels, Tinker should be able to eke out. Fly should be able to sustain with Spirit Siphon and Crypt Swarm, although the damage is not so great early on. Tinker can actually harass you pretty darn well. It's really down to how Fly decides to play with his positioning. If he stays forward, tries to get the siphons off to harass, nothing to say, might be a bit tedious without getting the right clip damage. But if you just play safe, play with your Crypt Swarm, I think you're going to have much more potential for shoving out the wave, especially if nothing to say doesn't opt for the March from Machines build. Ooh. Ouch. It's hard. No. You definitely don't, but you don't really have a choice in this case. The Ember just can't dip into the jungle early, has to kind of maintain that presence in lane. It's really how that trade goes, and nothing to say is kind of playing conservatively, pocketing his level 3 skill point, so still trying to figure out whether he can go for an aggressive build here or go into the March. And this is giving a lot more to Fly. He just has more flexibility, while nothing to say, oh, he does opt to go for the heat-seeking missile in the end. So this could be a bit of a surprise for Fly if he's not careful. If he drops too low, the raw damage coming out from the Tinker might be enough in some situations. Yeah, they get a little bit more. I believe Fate Beyond's going to be happy with that bonus from First Blood. Of course, you're not going to be too upset as IG. Emo still finds a counter trade there. It's just not as good of a trade, but you're still getting a lot of value from Emo's Metamorphosis use. This top lane for EHOME still a bit of a challenge for Fate Beyond. They're trying their best with Xin-Q. It's just that they're expending so many resources, and Xin-Q comes back in lane without any sort of regen. So he has to be very careful if he's going for the trades now. Oh, Fly.
Many before you have time and pain.
Yeah, dude. Just managing to apply that pressure on that top lane, even while your Ember is, you know, he doesn't have regen, so he's not actually able to trade. Just securing these runes are a big part of running this kind of support. You want to be able to get that nice added bit of speed, and of course, just finding that kill on Fly does help him out massively. Really deep dive from Fly here for nothing to say. Yeah, this... Yeah, it's one of the things when you allow that Tinker to hit level 6, and while it is still a better lane for a DP in terms of last hits found overall, it's not like Nothing to Say really lost out. He found a kill, he's behind by what, one last hit overall, not a bad start. I'm surprised IG hasn't really committed any rotations there, although they do rotate down bot to try to stop Sylar. I think that's a worthwhile use that first EXO. Would have been a bit hard to get that push. A lot of TP still available for EHOME. IG's not been really able to do anything across the map to force out those TPs earlier on. So the Sports still have a lot of leeway in getting back into these lanes, and that just makes getting a push started a lot harder. That rotation did give Kaka some space to get some EXP. It's been a slow start for him in the Rubik. You've not really seen too much aggressive movements with him and JT. Nothing like the lift and stomps for the early kills. Just a lot more conservative with RG's laning phase. This early aggression from EHOME is starting to pay off quite nicely. Like, they understand that IG does have to play around those timers. Like, you take a look at Emo, he doesn't have Mater for a minute. So this is a good time to drag those heroes up. You know, even an early rotation from Sylar does tell you that they want to really exploit that weakness in IG's draft, and it's really just not something IG can play around. As long as those spells are used, they're going to be in a weaker position than EHOME is every single time. Yeah, it's rather surprising. He didn't commit the battle trance at some point. He did have a lot of backup there, but it is a bit of a conservative move from him. I believe they did know that the metamorphosis was up, so they actually did contest. Would have ended even worse with a couple more pickoffs. They tried to minimize their losses, but fortunately the TP home doesn't pay off, although they catch Kaka.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah. I have to play active though. It's like it's down to that weakness of relying on those timers. And JT does manage to snag that outpost, so a nice snag away. That's 2 outposts at the first timer, right in time. And chased down once more by Fly.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He is very close to the travels, so once he has that, he's gonna have a lot more presence in terms of just sneaking into lane and launching rockets in the march for that sustained damage. I think you're also waiting out for the Urn finish up on Sin-Q, fairly close. And once you have that, of course, you get a kill. You've got a lot more damage coming out from December Spirit, a lot more presence from the hero. I think one thing EHOME really has to start paying attention to is deeper wards in that jungle area. There's some good D wards coming out from IG, but you would want to keep a track of the farming patterns of Emo. He's been given a bit of a free time past this laning phase, not really being forced out or anything after that dual lane, and this is going to give Terrorblade some breathing space to farm up into the Yasha Manta. This space for solid farm up. Like, he's always being pressured by IG, always being rotated on. I think that's what you expect EHOME to do onto IG. Like, this is what you want to see him to do to Emo. They do smoke up now. They don't quite have the vision in this jungle area. Still gonna try to find something.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Would have been a very different story for EHOME.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, it's a hard game to farm distribute for. You've got a Tinker and a Troll, and both of these heroes really just drain the map, so there's not much room to find any farm of his own. And that is going to be a major factor. I think he's going to be copping the shorter end of the stick in terms of farm priority, just by nature of how these lineups work out.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And that does give them some easier access in the jungle as well. It has been alive for a bit too long, but let's counterfight now. it does get them that disengage. Yeah, it gives them that disengage. They save their tier 2. You're gonna be okay with that if you're EHOME. You're not bleeding ground to the push that IG really needs to get done. Again, we talk about the timers. If they're not finding these objectives and the big kills with their ults and the metamorphosis, then IG's just not finding what they want these trades. And as long as EHOME plays that stall game, of course, you're getting a lot of space for Siler to build up. You're still getting farm on nothing to stay with his presence. He has his Blink Dagger now, so he's going to be a lot more annoying and hard to find as these fights push on. This is just gonna hurt IG's activity, although they do catch out soon Q.
That is why we fight so battle.
Again, a bit of a mess engaged there for IG. Really good of EHOME to capitalize on that, but IG cannot play outside of their ults, and they certainly can't play just with 2 heroes. Like, the damage isn't quite there for their DP to secure these kills. The control is lacking with just a Rubik. They need the follow-up from the center stun or from the Oracle root to ensure the kills happen, and 2 heroes are just not enough for IG. Of course, this is giving some space for EHOME farm up. It's the same thing that happens when EHOME gets chased around. They are buying space for Siler. So both sides are slowly building up in their pause ones, but IG is definitely hurting with these trades. Smoke doesn't find anyone, and it's gonna be EHOME's turn to smoke up small. I still feel like IG's not quite finding enough with their ultimate uses. The tier 2 is nice, and as long as they keep up the pace in terms of objectives, that lead they have is going to build up. It's a 6k advantage for IG. EHOME is on the back foot. They're not quite getting farm you'd expect a Tinker and a Troll to have, and especially Fate Beyond just way too behind. Like, they need to somehow give that Hangry space. He is working towards a blink and is very close. Once you have that blink up, of course, you're going to have an easier time to jump in, get the ideal rolls. EHOME is trying to slip in a rush, and there's no wards from IG to actually figure this one out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
This does give EHOME a lot of breathing room. They've got a lot more leeway to play aggressive, to try to mount some towers themselves. They are posturing around that tier 2. IG is going to have to wait a little bit for the exorcism, and even then it's doubtful they'll try to fight into the Aegis. There's just way too much from EHOME to hold out on, especially Solar. Now that he's pretty comfy with taking these fights, with a Battle of Fury Yasha, you're just not going to have the numbers advantage forcing 4v5. Thank you. It's the fact that IG just can't stand up to the AoE damage coming out from Nothing to Say. You've reached a point where the Tinker, yeah, he only had the Blink Travels and Aether Lens, but that's enough for him to wreck through your Terrorblade's not going to be as durable, although they do have the BKB and emote was popped fairly early before Nothing to Say was even back there spamming as much as he could. So there's a bit of a window here for EHOME, especially if IG does pop that BKB on Emo early. When he does, he can't stand up and fight. He just can't when the Tinker's back around. Yeah, that BKB pop for Emo was to avoid rockets flying in. He was fairly low on the Terrorblade. I think that was a fine move. They still found the kills they wanted. It is going to allow them to perhaps get a shove on that tier 3 bot. They've got the Exorcism up. They don't quite have the Metamorphosis. No, they have the Metamorphosis up too. So they can siege on the high ground. This is an opening for IG. They play it safe.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They do find the bounty rune EHOME, so they do get the better end of that. I believe JT was just sticking around for that and doesn't really get punished for that. Unfortunately, not enough bodies coming out from EHOME to control that Centaur. This is going to give IG the opportunity to regroup. They can try for a push, but nah. That's the tricky part with IG's draft. They don't have any natural vision, nothing like a Clockwork or Beastmaster to keep eyes on that Tinker, so they're going to rely on the clipping areas.
My brush falters.
Settle. Disappointing.
I do like this item build up on Emo, right? Went for the BK. He's on a Monkey King bar now, so the lasers aren't a major factor in terms of mitigating the damage. The troll mid chance is not there as well, so this is going to give a little bit of an edge to Emo when you least expect it. Just a slow and steady chipping away for IG. They're just trying to ensure that the map is going to shrink for the rest of the team of EHOME. So once you shrink the map down like this, once they take out that top lane of towers, that means nothing to say is probably not going to have backup in terms of when he does get jumped in lane. That just gives a lot more for IG to try to play around. They still don't have the best of wards to watch the Tinker, but there are so many warding spots to just catch the Cure out. And again, IG does not have the speediest way of getting that initiation done beyond JT blinking in. So it's one of the weaknesses when you don't have those long range initiation and vision givers, although EHOME is going to use this opportunity for smoke. Yeah, they really haven't been applying as much pressure onto Emo as you'd expect. I think they're just happy to trade farm with Siler because he hasn't been pressured on the troll. He's been forced to fight a bit more, but he hasn't really died, so there's still a lot of space there. I think that's fine. Like, they still have the entire top racks they have not touched much. They definitely need to get started on those objectives to deny complete control from EHOME, at the very least for anyone that isn't Tinker. So once they take at least that tier 2, of course the map is going to be much more naked for EHOME. That's going to limit their movement for their Tinker, and that will give IG a lot more leeway in how to dictate the pace of the game.
Amazing what you'll find lying around.
Honestly, I think it's a bit of a toss-up for EHOME. Their late game is pretty darn good as well. Like, since you does scale, Fate Beyond will stop scaling at some point. Your troll can kind of man fight, and there are windows of vulnerability for the Terrorblade. So as you approach that late game point, you rely more and more on that Metamorphosis, because that's when your damage is at its best, and you are just much more vulnerable without it. Your BKB goes down to 5 seconds as well, which in a fight against Tinker is really not that much time. Like, the Tinker can wait out those 5 seconds before bursting you down. So it gets slightly worrisome for IG if the game drags on a bit too long. Even if they have this 10k advantage, EHOME is still clearing out the map quite well. Most of that gold is mainly on Emo. He has a solid lead over the next cores, but everyone else on IG's side is a bit lower than you'd expect in terms of farm. Like, JT is kind of still up there, but after, say, he itemizes into that Halberd and the Lotus Orb, there's not much else you can expect from the Centaur. Maybe the Ags upgrade coming out just for a little bit more utility in that Stampede. That's another cooldown you're talking yourself into.
Radiant's top tower.
Oh. It's gonna be hard for IG to fight without that center. They need JT's control, because without that stomp, they really are just relying on the lift and maybe the root from the Oracle, but that's just not the best pieces of control for you. This is going to be a free rush for you on what's up in the IG. They are slightly postured for it, but not everyone's there. Oh.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It's a nice wastage of it for EHOME. They're going to be satisfied with trading support for that, and IG is going to be forced back into the farm game. It is risky for them to fight into the Aegis anyway, but it felt like they had enough time to catch Siler out there. Like, he was running a bit further away from his team. Could have been a nice opportunity for IG to at least take the Aegis out of the equation for next fight. Nonetheless, just a bit of a reset for both sides. It's a long wait for IG, you know. That cooldown is just so massive. A minute and a half until the next metamorphosis, and that just means if you're going to be fighting as IG, at the least it's going to be a 4v5. You're not going to have numbers equivalents there. EHOME's always going to have the advantage.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, they're going to lose a lot of objectives here, IG. They made the mistake of forcing that fight out without the metamorphosis. It still has 15 seconds to go. So at the respawn, at least Demo is going to be able to do some damage, and the question is how much of their base will be left. 2 racks are going to be open for the taking here.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
money.
And EHOME set themselves up quite nicely here. They've got everything they want. Although Fate, oh, yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
It's that situation where you struggle to push against Tinker, right? You let Nothing to Say reach the point where he has a sight, he has the Ags up, he has everything he needs to stall out these pushes, he has everything he needs to force you in a bad spot in the high ground defense, and you don't quite have the answer in IG's side. Like, you're still depending on the metamorphosis of Emo. You do have, you know, the progression in Fly has kind of stalled out. Like, all he really has is that BKB working on Shiva's next, which can help in survivability and like zoning out the enemy team, but I don't think that is coming out fast enough. It up now, and if they do buy it, they're not going to have buyback. So big items potentially coming out for IG, but that will take away a lot of backups they have for the high ground defense. Oh, you've got the Timeless Relic on to let's say as well. So, yeah, the debuff duration on the Hex. That's not nice.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, one big mistake IG did make in this game is that they stopped pushing. Like, remember, they took that tier 1 up top, they left the tier 2 up top, and they never really managed to shut down that map, which gave EHOME all the space they need to start playing farm up. They are getting really big now. You still have the lead with EHOME's farm, but it's kind of negligible. That 3k advantage IG does have is really just riding on the net worth of Emo. Everyone else has tapered off. You're not seeing progression on Fly. You're not seeing progression on JT too much. And this is one of the issues when you do put all your eggs in one basket, and that basket isn't nearly big enough to carry all of it. It's just not there. 3k advantage is not enough. That's not. It's like what, one major item at this point, whereas the Tinker and Pearl is probably going to match you anyway. And of course, you have to ride on that metamorphosis. They have not been able to pressure these towers. It's going to be hard for them to do that now with how much space they've bled out. I think they've got to drop some vision on the map. They're going to be playing around outside their base. They've only really got one warrior watching that Roche area, and beyond that, all these movements are kind of risky.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Makes it a lot easier to siege out high ground. Of course, once you have that Roche, and they are just camping around it. It's going to be up very, very shortly, and IG is in a rough position. Like, you do see a lot of items flying out onto Emo. He doesn't have buyback. I believe that is his Abyssal being finished up. He does have that up and running, but again, if he falls, you're not going to have that Terror Bleed around.
Dire are scanning.
I mean, IG's draft, they relied way too much on those cooldowns. They gave so much space to nothing to Siler. It was down to how fast they should have been pushing. They should have melted a lot more objectives before both the Blink and Travels were up, and nothing to say. Once he hit that point, he was just a constant global presence that
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
I think they drafted themselves to a bit of corn. That last pick, Tinker from EHOME, had a lot of value. They had no natural counters there, nothing like the Nyx there, nothing like the Beastmaster coming out. They were tied into the DP and the Terrorblade. They did have the Oracle to try to sustain themselves, and they were finding some pickoffs, but they're just so tied into a certain timing that they had to play around, and they just couldn't find enough in that timing. IG does go back to the DP, right? So they believe in that hero. It still does give a great push. I just feel like EHOME understands when to fight against DP. The big hint is here, when Exorcism's gone, that's when you should fight the team with the DP, and EHOME does that very well.
Ten seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Sniper.
Oh. Oh boy.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
It has its ways. It has its moments. It does take some investment, and of course the laning presence is absolute near. Sure, it doesn't give too much to your team in that sense. You really are just building slowly for the ags, for the constant assassinate spam, and that can take a while. Now, you do get some to the sniper though. Shrapnel as a scouting tool is pretty magnificent. If you do manage to have a laning partner that can take that heat off of you, if you prioritize your spells quite well, you can grasp pretty nicely. Not amazingly, but you can trade fairly okay. So there is some presence there. I think it really boils down to, is your draft going to be able to accommodate this greedy pick? And, you know, EHOME is the kind of team that runs that pause for Ember. It's not too far off from the sniper. Of course, the sniper does just take a little bit longer to get cooking, but it's that kind of pause 4 where you need to invest in it, need to draft around it. And I think EHOME is still pretty open for the draft that they can make this work.
Radiant team ban. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
Oracle.
Yeah. Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
I think Sniper does give you some things that a Shaker wouldn't, in that sense. Like, single target focus is pretty good. Again, the harassment you can pump out with your right clicks from safe distance is nice. The control is definitely not like a Shaker, but the scouting capabilities of Shrapnel with the charges you have is pretty useful for like a Mars hunting in the tree line. So there are some combinations there you can maximize with a sniper. There are still ways for IG to really punish. I think Tusk is a really good response once you have the blink, and maybe the Ags if the sniper's really that annoying for you to kick him back. Tusk is one response, Clockwork is one response, and it does come out for IG. So you've got this really easy reach to the back, right? You've got a player to scout, you just jump to the back line and kill him off. But EHOME got the Oracle Troll. So you've got that combination for them. They've got that solid sustain, and you have a great counter to the sniper. I don't think he's not focused, right? He's just the pos 4 that you're picking the Clockwork for.
10 seconds remaining. Radiant team back.
Riki.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's not as constrained as game 1. The only big cooldown is still just the DPL system, which, when it's just one cooldown, it's a much better experience overall. Would like to see what their last pick is. There are some holes with this kind of support duo. I think that does leave them vulnerable to a very speedy sort of mid laner. I think the Storm Spirit could be coming out here for EHOME. I think that works quite nicely with us. Of course, it is a bit greedy, but I think Mars and the Sniper should be able to create enough distractions that you can maybe make something like the Storm Spirit work if you did want to go into that option. It's not been banned out yet, but it does give you a way of reaching into the back as well. So you'd have that reach for EHOME that can play with a Sniper. Even if the Sniper gives you all the vision in the world, you don't really have the natural heroes to jump in here besides the Morris once he has a blink, and that can take a while in terms of farm.
Radiant team picked.
Storm Spirit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
There's not much in the pool. I don't think it's a laning matchup against the Storm. It's the control that you're looking for against the Storm. It's not really there. The Oracle route is nice if he doesn't dodge it first, and it's a relatively easy spell to disjoint. Sniper, of course, doesn't do much beyond just basically giving you vision. I don't think you expect to land the Assassinate up against a Storm, simply because he can zip away. So it's a good game for the Storm. I don't think there's any issues with that pick. Gives you a nice to jump onto the Sniper with the Clockwork. And of course the Riki can jump in pretty quickly as well. So all of these heroes for IG are pretty mobile, and that can really help them to pump that aggression up. I think what EHOME needs right now is really mainly a way to build off the Mars in terms of team fight. They don't have amazing combinations with the Mars. No potential there at all beyond just trapping them in for the troll hit. But that's it. It's not the most awe-inspiring. I think in this case, if you're going to look to build up that, perhaps Queen of Pain would have been nice just to have. They're going to be trapped in. Anyway, the Scream is going to be fantastic in that situation. I think the Puck would have been great, but IG did ban that out first, so props to them for understanding that in the draft. Of course, I see OD is kind of an option, but you don't want to be playing that against Clockwork. He just kind of gets obliterated by that. It forces him into using his Force Staff much earlier than you'd want, and it just kind of annoys him. So not the best option there. They do go with a Slardar. Okay. Yeah, I'm yep. I don't know. IG does have have a lot more leeway here. I think the fact that you can expect EHOME to have a great game in the Storm is one major factor here. Again, there's no easy way to keep that Storm in place. You're relying on either the bash from the Slaughter or the Crush, which is not fast enough. The Oracle Root, which can be dodged, or a very fast blink from the Mars to get the spear off. That's probably your best bet. Probably much more snappy than the Crush from the Slaughter, and it does, take a while for the Mars to reach that point. Of course, down mid, you can see a change in item prioritization, but there are ways for EHOME to run that fast. I think the Slaughter is mainly a response to say to Ricky. They've got that phase to kind of track where the Ricky is. It's not going to game them as much in the middle of the fight. It's not going to miss out on any kill opportunities, hopefully. And it works with the Troll, not just the Mars, of course, but the Troll is going to enjoy that corrosive haze, just going to make it much easier to melt through. Not only that, but you get the mark off with the corrosive haze, you follow up with Sincu's Assassinate, and once the Ag is up, of course, it's just going to be consistent Assassinates flying out. So there is synergy there. It's just going to take a while for it to reach its peak potential.
Thirty seconds to battle.
Oh.
The battle begins.
Yeah, nice clean pick off. This should give them a slight advantage in terms of runes as well. And gonna cause a bit of an issue for you. You didn't want to lose out on these heroes that fast. In fact, why is still under trouble? Yeah. Yeah, it allows him to switch lanes out immediately as well. So he TP's down bot, joining with JT, taking that off lane farm as you'd expect, and apply a lot of pressure onto Stellar. This is lane matchup that's not too strange. You do see Troll against DP a lot in mid sometimes, and I don't think this is something the Troll is too worried about. The kill op onto that DP isn't that high, although you do have big potential with Y here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, they've not managed to make this lane to work. I think level 1 Petri is probably the weakest point for these heroes, especially that sniper. Just no laning presence until you start to get a little bit more, and maybe to take aim, or more than likely to shrapnel. Just spamming that out is going to cause a lot of issues. Of course, Ricky is a very squishy hero in that sense, so as long as you can keep him under the shrapnel, that should prevent him from at least last hitting. Of course, they do start to dip into that jungle. That's one thing with the Slaughter. Once you have the Slithery and Crush up, you can get a pretty decent time there and contest these pulls. It's been a pretty good start here for EHOME on the bot lane. Styler hasn't really felt the pressure from this DP. JT only down to 6 last hits is not in a very good spot. I think although that's it's a deep. I think all those times he goes into help has maybe slowed down his potential farm. It's not as massive of a lead as you'd expect. Just 4 last hits above Fate Beyond, so maybe a wave advantage there, but it's not as domineering as you'd expect, and up in the back foot. Although the one upside to this is that EHOME is distributing this EXP quite nicely into Sin-Q. He's at level 3 as well. He is definitely stoking this lane hard, but despite those deaths, they're maintaining the EXP parity here. It's worthwhile though. Like, you reach that level 3 point in this dual lane, that's when they have a lot more threats, and you have level 2 in Shrapnel, you have level 2 in your Bash of the Deep. So the damage output is a lot better and does get easier for EHOME to kind of fade off against that aggression. The Ricky stays equally squishy, and you do see catch up from 51. 17 last hits, Fly just went ahead at 18. His farm is definitely not as fast as Sylar's.
Regeneration.
Oh. What? Yeah. That's the only way. It's the only way that makes sense. Yeah, to be fair, that's the only way that kind of movement does make sense. I can see waste less time. Look, like he TP's back in. Would have taken him a bit longer to walk and TP back, so time saved. Does kind of counteract that salve save he had. Could have probably just died before popping this self hit. A little bit of efficiency lost, you know. One thing we haven't really talked about is down. Nothing to say up against Emo is actually fairly even. Nothing to say is finding a good amount of farm still. Emo hasn't really managed to zone him out, and it's down to the fact that the Mars is fairly durable. So even if you have that great magic damage on Emo, Mars can still find what he wants with a couple of God's Review. Oh. 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 There you go. Support sniper. They tried to jump. No. EHOME was making it work. You have to admit, the top lane's going a bit better. Again, they found those early kills, but Fate. Hey, look, Fly is not finding the farm, so you could say, yeah, Beyond's dying, but remember, this is kind of classic off-lane play. You trade away your life to distract that safe lane carry from farming, although Fly is catching up nicely to Sylar, so the farm is starting to bounce back in, but Sin-Q is progressing nicely. I think that's the key thing with this kind of dual lane. Again, you draft around support sniper, you understand you're going to be shafting your lane. It's down to the efficient jungling you can get done as the Storm. So Emo has been dipping in to clear out camps, and you can do it a lot faster jumping through those camps than a Mars can. Mars can kind of clear out those camps okay, I guess to the God's Rebuke, but it's certainly not as fast as Storm. On the sniper. This game is giving me a lot of joy, Mike, because it's actually working. I mean, again, it's the one time it works is in pro games when you draft around it, and of course, EHOME is really giving SinQ the space he needs. I think he's pretty much just a core now. You know, it's like. Oh, Ollie, not sure you want to be there. There you go. It's just a shrapnel. Corrosive haze. I can attest for that though. Oh yeah, no, I can agree with that. Like, it takes a lot of patience from an offlaner to really get shafted like this. Fate Beyond, it is not in the best position, right? Like, his last hits are kind of atrocious. He split a lot of that into the sniper, but again, that investment is kind of paving off. Take a look at the bot lane, JT, first exorcism. Oh.
It's funny because on one hand,
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue for IG. They expand the exorcism, they don't find the tower, they don't find the kill. And that does leave them a bit vulnerable. They're not going to have that spell from DP anytime soon. That's some downtime they have to deal with, although...
Polish my armor in your blood.
Siler. Yeah. I wouldn't be too surprised if you opted for a bit of a faster build. Again, when you have SinQ soaking this much space up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's fine. That's the basic Siler build at this point, right? I think it's less... We haven't really seen him deviate from that control too much, so I guess it's not supposed to be surprising, but you'd think at some point you'd want to play a faster game with a sniper. Now, since I mean, he's rushing at Ags, Mike. Tranquil's Bracer straight into the Ags. No. No, in your pubs, it's brown boots and Ags. No, Anna!
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, definitely not. He's trying to make plays in mid as well. They find Kaka. This should allow them to get a lot of good chip damage onto that tier 1. Emo, I think, is feeling pressure to make some plays. He understands that Ricky's going to need more farm. So Fly is just given all the space he needs. And JT has certain timing windows, so he can't just TP in and help out. It has to be down to the Storm Spirit to find those opportunities. And it's just so massively risky and get chain stunned, and you don't have the best mana pool yet on the Storm.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, it's gonna be quick timing for him. One more thing to watch out for, I think, is nothing to say rushing that blink. So he understands that, you know, you've got the support sniper, you've got a way to maximize this long-range vision and initiation that you get from the sniper and the Slidar. You need some way of really getting the damage. But the blink on the Mars early on, it's going to allow them to set that arena up, get the spear off, get control in the team fights, and IG is going to be limited in response. If JT doesn't have his ult, you're probably not going to see the DP be a major factor, and this is actually super hard for IG. Right, you've got this DP who hasn't taken any tower beyond that tier 1 bot, which is pretty much a dead lane. So you're not finding key objectives with this DP pickup just yet. I think IG has to prioritize playing around that DP to melt these key towers, especially at mid tier 1.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Not the best of trades for EHOME. They do find a good kill for IG. I think overall you're going to be okay with that kind of trade. You get 2 supports, but you do give a kill onto your Storm, who has kind of lagged behind. This does give a bit of an injection to Emo, and this does give him a little bit more gold to play with. Him does narrow the gap just for a bit, although it's back to 4K in favor of EHOME. And the surprising thing for IG is that they've had Exorcism up for a long time now in JT. They've really got to play around that time. They smoked up for that, but JT just wasn't in the air to use that. So you want to see them bump up to an objective, especially since they just found that kill. They force out the arena. So this is a bit of an opening, although that is a short cooldown. Yeah, that's... Did not go the way they planned. I think that arena drop was key for IG to find that opening. They only really burst down the Lich, which didn't really matter because he already got the Chain Frost off. So even if they lost that Lich early, they had what they wanted out of that hero. They exposed their sniper. So it's really easy for Bo to kind of clean that up, and killing that Oracle off very fast meant that you didn't have to deal with false promise. So they didn't have any second life to back them up there. EHOME just kind of fell apart. They need Y to get a fast item up. He is working on Blink, so I think the idea is to stay way far behind and Blink in to get that ult off instead of having like a force tap to zoom out. I think that's a safer option for EHOME, but it does mean a slower build up for them. Yeah, we're also about 1,000 gold away from Sin-Q Zags. So that's not the fastest time, although fly from Sin-Q. Yeah, that's some good game sense from Sin-Q. They must have spotted him way earlier up here. I don't think they had any vision. He just kind of felt it from the creep, I suppose, being blocked up. So.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Are scattered. Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Stupendous!
Yeah, it's not good enough. They definitely aren't. The key factor is their Oracle dying way too fast. So again, it's why it's saving for the Blink, but it's such a slow build up on the Oracle. So much gold you have to save up for, which means that, you know, it's not like a force staff where you can at least incrementally build into it and have that to try to give yourself some space. The Blink is a much better thing for the Oracle. It's just they need to wait for it. I don't think EHOME can force these counter fights without that. And they were just walking into high ground as well, which is not the situation you wanted. They don't have vision in their own triangle. There we go. I mean, it makes it a bit easier for him to let out the assassinate at least. It's gonna be funny to watch. That's what I like here. It's just funny to see that happening every single time. That AWP sound all the time flying out. It's just obnoxious. I mean, look at that. He has the mangoes to spam it out as well. He's ready.
Tower is under attack.
Woo! Oh, it works! Oh, that's disgusting. It's just using that setup, even though it's just short 1.8 second stun. That's enough if you don't dodge it. And I'm surprised Emo did not expect it to be that quick. Gets punished. Didn't expect the Ags up.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's really down to watch out. EHOME should still be careful. They can't counterfight. I think that's the big thing for EHOME. They have to set the terms of these fights. There's no counterfight potential because IG will always find Y. It's a very easy target to go for, and once you lose that Oracle, it falls apart. Even if you lose Synq, I don't think it's a massive issue if you're counterfighting. The key target for IG is really that Oracle, and every single fight so far, when EHOME's not dictating the fight, Y is not there. So IG does have ways of forcing that. I think they should take this opportunity to smoke up and immediately blow up the Oracle and clean up afterwards.
Double damage. Haste.
Get on.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah. Simple. Yeah, it's not the best. I think IG, if you notice there, they already saw the call, but they were still looking for Y. So they immediately hook onto Y, blow Y up, and something the troll's just not as scary. You know, Siler's still waiting for that BKB. Before then, he's just kind of worthless without Y, and IG understands that. That's a very good target to go for. I know that Sniper's a very big target, but Emo's got to be careful about diving that deep. It wasn't even a vision issue, it's just that they understood with BKB, and I'd say could just counterplay that quite well, as there are animations to, especially that Vortex, if you're trying to cast it to stun lock that Sniper, and that's a window of opportunity for Mars. That spear flies out really fast, so something to watch out for now. At the very least, the BKB is dwindling. Oh no. Yeah? I don't think it's the Sanji and Yashi, it's the fact that they're forcing these fights without that BKB. It's a nice item on the troll, it's just that they lost a bit too much. Again, the biggest issue they have is that Y is just constantly dying. If he had a Force Staff, maybe he could get himself some space. You saw him there trying to turn around to cast that False Promise. Just eaten true by the Ricky. So you're really not getting value from this Oracle pick that you want to see. And as long as he's queuing up this Blink Dagger, it's just constantly, his gold is constantly going to be, it's never going to reach that 2.2k that he needs to finish up the Blink, and it's just supports life. It's going to take a long time for that, especially with how much farm is going to see in queue. So you can't expect that, but they are going to smoke up. They're going to try to use this opening.
Radiant's top tower
Do
has fallen.
it with flair.
but much bigger win there going for EHOME this time. It's still a very messy fight. Again, IG just finding the big target. Why? But that buyback ball allowed them to safely go into the Roche. And they could still kind of counterplay the exorcism stuff. And of course, Emo is slippery. Try to go for a play here. Yeah, definitely a better exchange for EHOME. The biggest issue is that for IG this time, Emo diving in went for Sin Q, not the right target. Y was right next there. He opted for the sniper instead, and because of that, Y could just get Fade CDA off. And, you know, Sniper living is okay, but why living is just such a big deal there. You saw him finally get off that false promise onto Siler, which allowed him to stay in that pit. And IG needs to kind of prioritize their targets. It just felt a little bit more scattered than you'd expect. And they are kind of punished. Although they have evened out that net worth advantage EHOME has. It's less than 1k now for the side of EHOME. So that's basically been turned negligible. Fly is on top of net worth. He's building up into the nullifier. So any sort of Ghost Scepter or Force Staffs that might be there for EHOME now kind of completely useless.
Death's what a bounty! Oh, glorious day! My soldier's fortune.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say this seemed like a pretty good Ags game, although. Yeah, they've got to kind of take control back in their jungle. They don't have vision in that area. IG just having that one ward was enough. You have that long-range engagement. Bit of Talk and Storm, as we mentioned from the draft, and of course, Fly can just join in quite easily. So that is giving Fly the gold build-up toward that nullifier. And once he has that, Ricky just becomes insanely scary. Once he gets that off, you're going to have to be really careful here. EHOME, again, they bled most of their gold bleed. The BKB on Siler is going to allow them a lot more in these fights. But you need some better wards to watch this map, and they should be dropping it soon. They've got the gem as well. For the vision. There you go. Just they can't quite show their gears like that. Tomorrow though, down one. Ooh. I'd say it's even. EHOME has stalled this game out long enough that Ricky's gonna be an issue, although he did just die. You have 21 bloodstone charges on Emo, so by the time you get something to help him out in survivability, he can be quite big. Jumps on. Oh no. No.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh man. It's just no. Yeah, it's just so funny for me, Sniper. I love this. I love this game already. It's just so good. Look at that. More mangoes from that mango tree. Lots of value in just getting that drop in this game. There's so much lining up here for EHOME in terms of getting CQ online. It's ready to go. Ready to try to assassinate someone again.
Dire are scanning.
Boom! There it goes.
Get punished hard. Nice set of pickups way of IG, and IG is really just finding all the targets they want. They force out the early usage of false promise, which sure saves the Mars, not quite enough. Oh.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh. Oh.
Wish fulfilled.
Yeah, just rather unfortunate for Siler. Nonetheless, they got the big kill. They got the Storm. They got Emo. I think they're going to be satisfied with that. Would want more. But I think the Storm kill is pretty big for EHOME. That does give them a little bit more leeway here. They do maintain a very slight network lead. You are starting to worry about the potential here from IG. They did manage to grab a gem as well. So you don't have that tool right now.
Dire's king has been killed.
Yeah, Storm is going to be up fairly soon, so not too much lead, but they do melt towers fast.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah. Oh no. No. Yeah, it only costs the GTs, I think, so you're not too upset with what you found there. And the buyback for Y, while very keen, doesn't really amount to much. They do expend a little bit more in EHOME than you want. and IG's gonna be very happy with that trade. I'm really curious that EHOME forced the fight after Siler TP'd home. They did that during Position 1 that entire last half of the fight. This will get IG into the pit, although the buybacks fly out. Oh no.
Thank you.
Yeah, 6K advantage for IG. Only 2 people to defend. Tier 2s in the high ground. Now, at the least for EHOME, there is still Tier 2 towers, but they're not going to be lasting too long. Of course, it is going to melt rather quick. There is no extra system on JT, so they're not going to have that for the high ground push. Will kind of stem the bleeding here. Unsure whether or not that will buy them a full minute that they need to get Siler up, though. It is a sniper high ground, so that's still fairly annoying to deal with. And when you have the shrapnel talent as well, right? Like the damage on creep wave is really so good. So it just gets shoved out, and IG understands they can't quite push to just settle with that tier 2. Should give EHOME the response they need. They've got to be careful now. You know, you've got that nullify up and running on fly. Definitely just melt whoever attaches out. You still don't have any sort of way to keep Y alive on the Oracle, so there's still easy ways for IG to pick off that key backliner. And if you're not careful again, without that Oracle, a lot of stuff falls apart.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Not only that, but they got the exorcism up on JT, so they can really start sieging rather safely. Siler? Oh man.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
Oh man. It's pretty hard. You're still stuck with 2 people just defending, about 20 seconds left for the rest. The sniper is there, but you run out of shrapnel charters. Without that level 25 talent, you don't have enough to really deep push at this rate.
Middle barracks are under attack. Radiant's has fallen.
Yeah. Should give them a lot more leeway in next push and be happy with just having the waves shove out like that. It's getting worrisome for EHOME. They just for these fights so many times without buyback that they're severely behind gold. You take a look at Sylar, still a long way from buyback. In fact, really everyone on the Radiant side just so far away. You do have Sincu's buyback now, but I don't think the Sniper's buyback is going to matter too much. And give IG a lot more. They have the confidence to play far forward. They know they're ahead. They know if they find some key pickoffs that could be Megas coming out here. And while EHOME can hold against Megas, it's really just down to the Sniper clearing out these waves. And that's not ideal. You would want the rest of the heroes to get some distribution from that, but it is what it is when you kind of draft its way.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Invisibility.
Players here.
Yeah, it's getting a bit to the point where they are worried about a bit of extended siege. Although Fate. Oh. Oh. Yeah, you've given away pretty big kills. You will have back and flying a bit. He's just about 20 gold away, so you can passively get that in there. But Kaka's a bit further off. Yeah, 400 for him until cooldown's out anyway. So that is a bit of a window for EHOME. If they can find bigger targets, they can actually pressure this map quite fast. But Pro, that's tower fast.
Dire's turret. Dire are scattered.
Tower. Yeah, that is the Princess Knife at work on Sincu. Just that little hex giving them enough leeway to try to get that done. Unfortunate, or fortunate for IG, that day he was around. So, counting their lucky stars there would have been really bad if they lost Emo as well. It's just a bit away from that buyback 100 gold. It's gonna have to save up for a bit. Is working towards that BKB. So once you have this Emo BKB, a lot less stuff to worry about from jumping, and that's the me. And EHOME is going to struggle in trying to find their opportunities.
Whoa, what'd I miss?
some pretty big kills there. For EHOME, at least, they do have buyback, so they're going to be able to come back in if there is a high ground siege coming out from IG. It does look like they're just going to wait out next Roche. Aren't quite committing the lead just yet, which means that there is another objective to go for. You know, one thing to point out, you've got Blink and Y, so he has a lot more ways of sticking outside of the fight and still getting that false promise. It is going to help EHOME just a bit. We have been seeing a lot of false promises coming out of this. It doesn't feel like it's been enough, and that the sustain is keep Pro alive more. Oh no. Oh man. Big open for EHOME. There is a massive wave up top though. That's something they're gonna have to deal with, but they're also alive, they've got battle trance, they have all the tools they need. They could rush straight for any objective they want to. They want to commit for that. Is be the box at the very least for Storm. I think that's the biggest issue they've got in these engagements. Just emo in and out, and it's a long respawn for him. So you figure you would try to get something out here. They will cautiously go up to the high ground. It's a mixed opportunity there for IG. I suppose the smoke screen was making that entire push a bit more frustrating, and I think this added time should give IG the space to save up for buyback on Emo. So he's gonna have buyback by the time the engagement breaks out. That means EHOME does miss out on an opportunity. You look at Sincudo, has the Sight of Vice for himself. So you have the Princess Knife for that right click hex, you have the Assassinate, and if you need any more, the Sight of Vice is up for an additional hex. Although Smoke Up, gonna try to find something. Oh. Oh no. Just played a bit too greedy there. Is punished hard, and IG are the ones to force some buybacks out. This is going to be a big opening for them if they opted to push. Looks like they're playing a bit cautiously as well. No rush in anytime soon, and I think they're going to be satisfied with at least getting control of buyback. So they know they have probably one fight away from taking Anthony Major. Will mean that they've got some leeway to just farm up a bit. You know, you still lack 90 gold for Emo's buyback. You still are missing some key gold there for your own buybacks, and you did force a buyback on fly. So yeah, be cautious with your Ricky. Stay on this up for added protection, but you don't really want to be in a situation where you're going to be relying on that. Gives EHOME some leeway to buy stuff. Nothing to say, does have the refresh, so has a lot more control coming out in these team fights, and that should give EHOME a bit of an edge. Yeah, it's from the first Roche.
Stupendous.
Thank you, my beauties.
Yeah, it's tier 5s. Can be big for both sides. Of course, that actually does tend to dictate how the game goes, you know, and I think the last few times we've seen the tier 5s go, it has been favoring the winning team. Well, they are allowed to really roam that jungle. Does allow them to secure it a bit earlier. In this case, map control is fairly even. Edge for IG because the lanes are constantly shoved up top. So they do have the advantage in one lane being shoved in. But EHOME does have their sniper to rely on to de-shove it. They still a massive lead now for IG, of course, 31k, and a smoke coming out from EHOME. Yeah. Yeah, I think what they're trying to go for is kill on Ricky. They know that Fly doesn't have buyback. So if they get that dieback on him, it's going to be big for EHOME, but they still run the risk with Sylar. So it's a double-edged sword there. It could go either way if they do fight. And they're just going to be playing defensively together, huddled up in their own jungle. They can't really farm up too well. Once they split, IG is going to be able to start to find his key pickoffs. And on top of that, they've got so much control on the map now. IG will have posts for the next set of XP, and that should bring a couple of years closer to their level 30, which I think it's going to be pretty big for at least the Storm. So he's at level 29. To hit that 30 mark, of course, it gets a bit silly with how much more he gets, especially with like the added duration on that vortex. be the rush first. Safer play. I think they do understand that there is still a bit of a risk there and just want to ensure themselves a way back. And of course, it's not much EHOME can do. You see Fade smoking up the runes, give themselves a bit more gold. You do have the buyback up once more on our Mars though. So they have some added options there for the defense. Oh, they got it! They got the Ags and Cheese. Yeah. Yeah, they did. On, I believe, on Siler's couriers. He did manage to steal something that is, well, it's not the biggest steal. Like, there is still some more leeway, but that cheese is going to hurt them just a bit. Going to make them a bit more cautious. But there's only... Yeah. It's with JT? Oh no, it's with our Ricky.
Radiant's bottom is under attack. Radiant's bottom is falling. Radiant's bottom is falling. Dire now have mega.
What'd I miss?
Ooh, these... It's looking a bit better for IG. I think that that Ballista is definitely worthwhile a bit more. It's just that no one's really going to be able to finish that trident. Maybe Sylar, he is queuing up the Kaya just to make use of that drop, so they're going to have it in their control. Dogs maybe want to hold out for buyback. That is 2.7 away, so it's a long gold build-up, and I don't think they have the farming space to really wait that one out. Oh no. Fly! Oh no. Oh man, really bad exchange for IG, just not finding way in there. They do force 2 buybacks out. They are still ahead, but they tried to go for the truck and it doesn't pay off. So there is more breeding room here for EHOME. This should allow them to maybe farm up for some buyback. At least Sylar is going to have some time to try to work 2.5k gold in. This has bought enough time for his courier to respawn in half a minute as well. But they're actually going to have cheese and a synthesized Ags ready to go. And that's going to massively help their cause. I think you just leave the cheese on Sylar. He's been having an easier time staying alive anyway. So just having that additional life should help out. He is starting to take over, especially when IG blows all of their spells. Has been able to survive now that Y is kind of being able to live through a lot now as well. So it's starting to kind of shape up for EHOME, but you're still playing up against a 40k deficit, although 55 minutes in, it's not as noteworthy compared to just buybacks. And overall, IG does have 2 key buybacks. Fly and EHOME still have theirs available, whereas no one on the Radiant really has anything.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Oh no. It's a Ricky game. It's hard. It's more of that the Oracle's not around to give you that additional life, so you don't have any tools here. You did give the Ags upgrade to nothing to say as well. You're not gonna have that added value, but they can try. Still a sniper, I suppose. Oh man. Yeah, what a game to EHOME, bringing out that support sniper. It works for a while.
Radiant team ban. Dire team. Radiant team ban.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for the third draft of this best of 3 between IG and EHOME. It is MLP Dodronics fine. John, the last game went very fast. 67, 68 minutes, I believe. Surprise, surprise, poor sniper didn't work.
Dire team ban.
Game
It worked for 67 minutes. Okay, the last minute didn't pay off, but it held out.
Oh, game 3 now. Do you think EHOME can change things up to try and pull off this game 3 victory?
I think if they go with a faster early game, they might be able to just shut out what IG wants to do. Like we saw in game 1, where IG was just kind of they can take that early game a bit slow, and it's something EHOME can certainly abuse, especially if IG does go for dependency on big long cooldowns. Then that's just something EHOME can play around quite well. We'll see. I think the one thing in the last game was that the support sniper did work, but their early game was just atrocious. It was atrociously bad. They had to give a lot of space towards Sin Q for the payoff, and it wasn't quite enough. I think that's the play style fits EHOME too well. I think they'd rather play a bit faster with nothing to say coming online fast, and Sin Q just being a bit more active as they tend to be. So if they go with something a bit more in line with what they tend to run, I think the results should be a bit better in this case rather than compared to the result of game 2.
Dire team pick.
Well, bans are over. EHOME, they do have the first pick of this draft. How do you want to start this off, EHOME? IG, every single draft we've seen have banned out the Beastmaster, giving Faith Beyond that respect of not allowing him to have that signature hero come out. They do also ban out the Mars this time, so they don't want to give nothing to say that option.
Radiant team pick.
And we'll start with the Shadow Demon pickup.
It's a solid support to have. Doesn't block into any sort of stretch. So have a lot of potential to save people in a certain situation, and a lot of ways of combining for good setups. So, some the Centaur come out, the really easy follow-up from the disruption. You can have something like the Mirana if you want to, although we don't tend to see Shadow Demon plus nowadays. That's certainly an option for EHOME if you wanted. And I think it's just a really strong support to have in lane. You can't underestimate the damage poison does to you. You know, you have 4 or 5 on top, you've got to wonder about the damage coming in, and that usually does bring a lot of heroes early on.
IG into the D, and it's been a very popular, not support, but a very popular to have throughout the past couple of days. Just versatile right now, being able to throw it in the off lane, being able to throw it in the mid lane, even the safe lane, of course, the DK. Very flexible. What have sec pickup now? I wonder what you follow this up with. We've seen consistent push style lineups from IG tonight. They don't have the DP available,
Dire team pick.
but alright, they pick the Oracle for themselves.
Yeah, it's a solid pick to have. The D is very sturdy target, and the Oracle doesn't enjoy keeping those kind of heroes up and running. You don't quite have anything in EHOME to be scared of. I mean, it is just still the Shadow Demon, but Shadow Demon alone doesn't really punish that Oracle too hard. Because the DK illusions can be nice, but not a massive issue for the side of 5G. So they do have a lot of leeway in getting this draft done. I think the one thing you have to watch out for DK, of course, it is kind of tied into its own cooldown. You are tied up to your dragon form here, so you don't want to get yourself in the trap like game 1 where you had 2 big ults. The DK does have a bit more uptime there. There's a bigger window to get things, but you really don't have to play that kind of tempo-based game where there are just small windows where you're online, because EHOME just enjoy punching that.
Dire team ban.
Oh, okay. EHOME, they picked the button. Remind me, because I might be forgetting, but EHOME did run a pretty mean Brutal Back game a couple days ago.
Yeah, I recall that. I'm not a couple of days ago, but I just recall. I believe Styler plays it really well in the first one, and that's something they always bring out.
10
Okay.
seconds remaining.
I am sure that at the time they did have the Ember and Coddle on their side of things.
Yeah.
They won't have the Coddle at the time. So whether it's going to be quite as effective is a completely different question in and of itself. And in fact, IG, they do ban out the Ember just in case. They don't want to have that dual combination of the BB and the Ember on the same team. Excuse me. And now third, IG. I wonder, what are they looking at?
Well, they didn't ban out the keeper was banned out, so they're not gonna have that combo. Anyway, you could look for something that just starts to get up and running fast. Bristleback does want to kind of get some space early on. I'd say with a specific lineup, you could maybe get away with. I don't know. Timbersaw was banned out. That would have been pretty good. For the Bristol, it's hard to say without seeing the rest of the heroes, right? Like, it's still pretty open for EHOME. They're not relying on any big combos just yet. I think you'd rather look with that Oracle. You have the Troll as an option. If you want to go back to the Oracle Troll, of course, we just saw issues with it from EHOME last game. So I'm not sure if I'm just going to be confident to that. But go with your favorite. There you go. Great spirit.
It is the boy. EX comes out. I love seeing it played outside, and again, EHOME, they will respond with Jakiro, and it's never really fun playing Earths with Jakiro, Jonathan. It's very frustrating, right? Because you try and trade a little bit in lane as an ES, and it's already hard enough as it is on this hero to trade any kind of right-click harassment in lane, and Jakiro just makes it that much more difficult, right? Just dual breath,
10 seconds
can't trade.
Yeah. It's
5
it's
seconds
an
remaining.
interesting pick. I don't know why you picked a spirit. In this case, like the balance is not the long range initiation is nice, but there's no real soft targets to go for. Shadow Demon can be not nice to pick off, I guess, the Jakiro, but Bristleback's really not something you'd be
Dire team
looking to clean up too fast. With the Oracle, it does kind of give you that up and roll in with Root, and the Enigma does give you a lot more to play with, although you don't go straight to the Terrorblade.
These are very interesting. I don't want to. Oh, Bristleback Terrorblade. You just need the space here for the Terrorblade. I have this kind of draft where during mid-game they could really just run at you, and if this DB isn't up to par, they're just going to really run all over you. Like they're going to have no issues doing that.
And for EHOME, it's just straight up Bristleback lane. And I think that's even more important than the Terrorblade, because TB will always take time to come online, but the Bristleback definitely needs a fast of guard or a fast of Defiant to really start tanking, stand in front, clear out the creep waves, stop the idle and spam from the Enigma, and you're just gonna need an early investment in the living phase to make sure Bristleback does that point. So that's gonna be the key lane for EHOME. The Terrorblade is still something that needs to come online, but it will take time, and you might as well accelerate your Bristleback in this case. It's great. Like, I think there are some pretty nice ways for IG to jump that terror. The Earth Spirit has a lot more value in this case. You just have an easy way of jumping in, getting silence off, preventing a Sunder in a team fighter from happening, or even just a Metamorphosis from flying out instantaneously. So you should be able to get the control there if they can spot him out. Even does pick up a talk. Now that's another way to shove out waves up against Enigma. You can melt through those pylons nicely, gives you some nice control, match damage for like the Dragonite. And I suppose this does give him a really easy way to cancel the black holes as long as the puck's not caught. So it's a strong pick for EHOME. It's finally made an appearance. I just don't think it's enough to tie in this draft for EHOME. I still do slightly prefer IG. Of course, they have to close it out.
And what do they close it out with? It still seems that they need some sort of. If you can run the DK mid, because it does seem like you need some sort of real tempo control kind of hero here for IG, just to really set the pain against what EHOME's bringing. Like, you have an Earth, you want something to really follow up with if he starts rotating.
Yeah, I think that DK mid should be too bad. Like up against the puck, it's not going to lose out. It's not going to harass the puck out completely. Of course, the puck does have really good magic damage to constantly shut out the wave and harass out the DK. But by level 3, level 4, you do have enough to sustain. And instead, they go with the Invoker coming out. I believe that's going to be Emo. It's one of his favorite. So
special.
Yep. Get to see it for the last game. That's really exciting, and it does kind of work with your experience, although we don't get to see some strikes play an early point. So we're probably just to see straightforward rotations. You would like to see that from Kaka, but they have kind of tended to not rotate on it, right? The focus has been on the side lanes. You do have an Invoker you want to ensure that he does get that early start, and I think as long as that mid-rotation from Kaka forces someone else EHOME to respond, you end up happy, because that does mean you're taking some of the pressure off from wherever the bristleback is. If that support goes away, your matching lane should be able to apply enough RF to maintain that lane.
I gotta say, with that Invoker, John, you have plenty of kill potential now with that Earth Spirit.
Yeah.
You just cross wax cold. You just need a cold snap. Once the cold snap's applied, the mid is dead. Assuming Kaka hits the roll and maybe gets this kick back to the D1 tower. Should be a big match. I feel like there's a lot of pressure here on Kaka to make those plays early on. He can't really afford to mess those up.
I think the key thing is it's not even a kill. You know, as long as Kaka goes in, forces enough rotations back from EHOME to free up the lanes, I think you're going to be happy with it. As long as, say, the laning part, as long as CQ, say, leaves Sapien alone, and you have Ollie hang around with Flock in that lane, in that man, then you can start to control up beyond slow down his farm. Again, the key thing for you is the timing in that bristle. So it's not about the tempo of the Invoker, it's just slow down, fix, and you can probably take over this game. So I think what IG can look for, just be really disruptive. It's hard to get in the puck. Like, you're going to have really good vision and ensure that EHOME does not. But if they can get that done, then it is going to be highly disruptive.
Well, we'll get into it. Game number 3 in IG, and the winner of this will, of course, take the series for the night. And
Prepare for battle.
yeah, I think we can both to be very entertaining, especially IG. Just bring so many great heroes. Poker, the Earth Spirit looks good.
We do see Emo actually go for early leveling sword, using that Sunskirt Scout out, and potentially setting up for first.
I don't mind that. You know, it's every other Invoker we do see goes Quartz Wax. However, the Emo we remember always goes Exhort.
Oh yeah.
So he hasn't changed this man. He still wants to run that kind of build on the Invoker. See how it pans out for him. I don't mind seeing it, that's for sure.
30 seconds to battle.
I find Parker's build a little intrigued with the fact that he didn't actually end up going for something like an Orb of Venom, which is very, very powerful in the Earth Spirit right now.
Yeah, just opting for more regen to really maintain his presence, and I think that does show that you're not aiming exactly for kill. It's just really wanting to be disruptive. They just want to ensure that the support aren't going to be able to bail out certain key hero. And it's going to make it harder for Kaka to have that presence. Like, that was just massive. Ever since the change to Orb, just really benefits that Great Spirit, but let's see how exactly he pulls this off.
Boulder forward onto Y. It's hard with the Jakiro though, like you get Jewel Breath and the trade suddenly becomes a lot uglier if you are the Earth Spirit. He's gonna get quite a bit of harassment onto Y. Not too bad. Back rolling again, just gonna continue running at him. Forces out another Jewel Breath. To be fair, this is all man not being extended towards the Enigma. So it's not really so bad. I guess you can now see why he invested in so many tankers to begin with.
Just a
nice little easy start.
There's not much terribly to really do in that situation. Of course, doesn't quite the way it was well on. When you don't have Metamorphosis, you kind of have to walk up first headlong. they can micro them away. JT is having a little bit more from this lane, although White does maintain his presence here.
I like what Karka's doing though. He's double stacking this creep wave. So he knows he can't win the lane up against TB Jakiro. In fact, I thought he was just going to leave it. He's actually going to pull it all the way through mid. This isn't so bad. You're going to get so much XP for yourself. It's a long process, but it's well worth it.
Yeah.
At the other lanes while that's happening. It's like emo and nothing to say. It shouldn't really be a lane that just saying there's nothing down the park. Like you can be expressive without any fear of a reprisal from the Invoker.
Yeah, it's, the first few builds for Invoker are pretty bad. That the puck can play around with the superior range, superior right click damage, and superior spells in terms of raw damage out. So it should get easier time for that to say, and it really is showing in the last hits at least.
Great old job. Okay. Does have a lot of capability to catch up quite fast. He's already only one last hit behind. As those positives all go up, it becomes a lot easier. Looking at the bot lane, Fly's having a good old time as well. The DK really just no contention here. He's just able to freely farm up. He'll pull the creep wave over to the big camp and get some further efficiency out of this wave. Tinku going to be chased down by Ollie on the Oracle. And Tinku may die. No, Faith Beyond be there. He'll take the creep wave himself. That's everything with the bristleback. They can just do this. Skip the creep wave near the neutral camps and find whatever they want.
There's not too much you can expect Paul to do here. And it should mean that Fabian is getting the lane he wants. So as long as his farms is consistently like this with waves, then of course the bristleback will be a bit beneficial to Kaka.
Comes in. Smash does commit. I don't believe we'll be able to sustain. Kaka does find the first blood on the Earth Spirit. And that is one of the weaknesses about pulling the waves like that, is that low. Something like an Earth Spirit capitalized very easily.
Yeah. It is a bit of a reset for Fabian. So he was at the bristleback where he did expend his entire mana pool and then have bottle charges. I'm not sure if he's going to be completely upset. Just get a reset once, full bottle back into the lane. It should apply surpass onto that DK.
Nice Fortune's End. Gonna take 4 stacks of Shadow Poison off Kaka. He should still, but no, he will rolling boulder down. Still the second rotate. Should have enough damage to finish him off. Can they try and trade here? Not quite. They will comp snap onto nothing to say. Fortune's End will come in place for a little bit. Strike would have been very nice. Nice one pound from the puck, and he will avoid it.
You are starting to see that support movement that we are looking for from this draft, right? You force Sinq to respond to this aggression on mid, even if it is just a little burps. And that does just give a little bit more here on bot, which forces Fabian to kind of just go for the builds, and once Ollie's back, just apply that harass, break the mana.
Beyond gonna be trouble again with this bristleback. Kaka gonna be with the boulder smash. Has the rolling if he wants, but he doesn't need to. Fly picks up a very easy kill, and we've bristleback's a lot on. If they lose the lane like this, if they keep dying over and over again, it does not work out very well. Like it's kind of hard to catch up on a bristle.
Yeah, it's IG is pulling off quite nicely. You take a look, Fly's already set, and Fabian was still level 4. So you have a second EXP advantage here, even though the lab's up too far apart, just about 2 waves off. But Fly with level 6 this early on does mean that he's just going to be staying in this lane quite fine. He can't apply the damage onto Fabian, and it's not a free-from situation for Bristle, which means it's a bit slower in the vanguard, a bit slower on the Hood of Defiance, and that means mitigated laning presence, which means that he's not situations away from the turret lane. So Sutler's going to be exposed if he doesn't find that farm.
Nothing to say in the mid lane. going to be there. Really having more silence yet, but nothing to say. He will all play once again. So not very easy when up against the park, but now Ollie with this image may be able to find a nice opening for the Fortune's End. It is level 6, so there is definitely no potential here on the park. Weird. Chaos Meteor, that's a lot of damage. And Kaka actually did go for the geomagnetic grip on the Earth Spirit. It's not something you see every day on the Earth Spirit, John, but that level 1 silence can pay dividends.
Yeah, really worked out for them there. And you do see Sinq once again hanging down mid, which means even if Fabian can get the creep cuts and all the creep cuts he wants, it is just mitigating presence. He can't actually slow down fly, forces to go back to his base to refill his bottle and just walk back the lane, which is slowing his pace down. Now this is giving Siler a lot more space. Like he is for him, but JT is working up quite nicely. He has his Necro Books up, so when they choose, they can shut the lane down. Just going to be there on fly, but turn around for one more attack onto that T1 tower. If Beyond still trying to catch up at those ancient stats, but he's lost so much HP from them. Very careful how he approaches this, as he does find a poor man shield as well as the Iron Tower. These stats will help him catch up substantially. Top lane, GT is just forcing in the T1 tower, and he does have the Necro 1 book. So nobody really going to defend this either on the side of EHOME, which could be very dangerous for them. AT just going to be able to freely do this without being cash. Emo being caught by the Dream Call. There is a rotation from Sylar. He will end up losing his life, and now Ollie may also be chased down. Nothing to say, should have the dash necessary, and Ollie does eventually go down to Sylar, who picks up a double kill on the Terrorblade. That allows them to get a push going on the mid-tier a bit part than what they're losing up top, and it's really playing quite nicely into EHOME. They're actually planning around his metamorphosis quite well, and they take a really nice early mid-tier 1, very faster than you'd expect. You'd expect I to find the targets with the DK and Enigma, just kind of split their focus.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It's going to be a 3-3, less than 1k net worth lead to the side of IG is... You know, I keep looking at Faith Beyond, who really is starting to catch up quite nicely on this Brittle. Let's have the Vanguard up now. More importantly though, the rest of IG have smoked up. They are going to rotate up top. They have JT there, they have a Black Hole, and they see Sylar. The very important kill for the side of IG. Sylar seems to notice things wrong, so now he does back off and secure, who will scout out the area, and he does break the smoke. You know he's going to die for this, but you'd be more than happy knowing that your Terrorblade got away with his life intact, but maybe Wyatt didn't really need to die here. Fly is going to chase him down, and you know, why he does get to his T1. Looks like he will survive just fine.
And it will allow IG to apply some chip dampen. You don't have the Enigma because it creeps around, but you've got a lack of the open fly, so could be a good amount of damage.
But the Dream Call does lose his own life. Now Ollie gonna try and walk away out of this with the TP. He does make it out. They really wanted that T1 mid tower, but EHOME are just not budging. They will not let it go down.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's target to keep in place, as once they lose that, these jungle movements from IG are going to be much more freeform. They're going to have a lot more control in this area, and you want this if it's safe for Cyber. So you are seeing Fabian, as you mentioned, bounce back in with Vanguard that needs to play in front a lot earlier on. He can be the distraction that EHOME needs to get Sylar his farm. I mean, Sylar is comfy enough to show up in fights, but you really don't want that from your Terrorblade. You want him to play safe, farm up. Is saving up already, and he's building into a Dragonlance first. So a bit of a shakeup from the usual Yasha Manta we tend to see, but that should give him some fight and presence if they actually want that.
I think EHOME need it. They're doing okay now, but it's still. Oh, rotate down that bot, pops the metamorphosis.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Should be able to claim the tier 1, but the problem is their tier 2 now is being pressured by JT, who's been doing a really good job of forcing this in. Now, we do see Sunstrike with the Dragon Tail. It looks like Y will probably lose his life from the Jakiro, though no. Disruption will save from CQ and Baby up. With the recoil from nothing to say, we'll be able to hold down the Dragon Knight, and Fly will end up losing his life. So they do protect that tier 2 tower. They do also manage to find the bottom tier 1 while they were at.
It's a nice little win for EHOME that does give them a bit of an effort lead. I think one thing IG has to be really careful about is just how far you push that DK. Like, they didn't even find a Jakiro kill. You have to respect the saving grace from Sinkyu. The fact that that was a pretty deep dive, and he didn't really have JT up front. Like, he was playing way at the back line, so they couldn't tweak the black ball, and that allowed EHOME to just play a little bit more forward than you'd want them to.
Rolling doesn't latch. They have the black hole, they have the chaos, the fake, the just melt, although they will take JT with them. All those cool sprays coming out just burst on the poor Enigma, who had to stand there and take yeah, it was like, oh, it's a Bo3 for a Bo3 trade. It's not that big of a deal for me.
Yeah, that's it's painful, but that is what happens when you commit to a bristle back early on. It just tends to hurt you back a lot, and something you should look to mitigate from IG, perhaps having a mech of some sort of map or a pipe. I think the mech's a bit more value for the burst heal. Although yes, Crimson Guard is better, but you don't really want to build it just to mitigate the quells. It's interesting to note as well, Emo did go to the Invictus. I don't think I've seen that item in a very long time on an Invoker. Yeah, so he's just trying to rush himself some golden EXP.
Well, that's a really bad armor. Is Kaka gonna get caught out? Is that item getting right now?
I wouldn't want to say game losing. I just think it's not valuable.
Okay.
It's not as much of an accelerant than it used to be. You also don't get reliable gold from Bind anymore, because again, there's no reliable gold beyond. It's just passive income, so you're not getting too much value there. Nerf to the experience game, of course, has hurt it for a long time. There is still value a hero like Invoker. I think it's the only hero you can really justify this on, but it does look a very different play style, which I guess he's playing into, right? He's going for the Orchid next. He's not going for that usual Spirit Vessel early aggressive kind of Invoker style. This can block the
Lane caught by that Shadow Blade. Been very effective, and Emos want to pick up the kill in that lane. He'll start running on the bristleback, trying to find an opening, trying to find a trade. Nothing's stable. Also jump in. They should be able to find at least Kaka, and he does eventually go down, but gets magnetized off. And now IG will try and turn around with this. CQ almost goes down. The cavalry is coming in. Emo, he is now there. It's going to be the puck, but he already overswings. The Chaos Medium doesn't even land on him. Fly as well, going down to the DK. Do they have dust for the Invoker? They have a Sentry. Ice will lock him in place, and that should be enough. So he can push it back the way of IG now. That's going to allow him to start forcing down the T2 tower a little bit.
It's not looking too good for IG. They have traded away to gold lead, and while they did find a big pick-off on Silo earlier on, it is heavily punished. You are seeing Fate Gun kick in, just a bit huge on that front line. Again, he managed to find a bounce back. He is second place for EHOME here, and quite well. So as long as he keeps that pace up, it's going to be massively disruptive. He is saved up for a quick halberd as well. So that effectivity of Fly's presence is going to vanish really fast here.
Cock. Playing with a bit of fire. Nothing to say, could easily turn with that Dream Coil, but chooses not to.
One of the things as well on IHG's item build-up is that you look at JT's Enigma. For the fast BKB and Blue, they're actually planning to play around Black Hole. Again, the most typical use of the Enigma nowadays, depending on that ult, but it does feel like IHG depending on that initiation to get things that up.
Dream Coil on the back, he found two of it with him. It can be fine, looks like there's no follow-up, but it will allow EHOME to take that C1 up down for free. Beyond now going to come in with the nasal goo just at the side of Ollie. Gonna slow somebody down enough. But they got the tower they came for. They're going to be happy with that. Looks like they're just going to back off now. Defend that bottom tier 1, although it has already been lost to top might as well on the Dragon Knight. Does this game even EHOME the later again? It does, right? Like, with a Terrorblade, with a Puck, with a Bristle, surely you just outscale IG once you get into the mid to late game.
Yeah, definitely. They've got all the tools they need to go into late. You do maybe worry a bit about Ags on fly. We have seen that item really change to pay for Dragon to just take the wall. And you know, be catching people out.
Don't quite yet. Yeah, they do. Both boss will come out. Faith beyond on top of him, however. Faith been a little bit rolling forward. He is such a tanky target though. That's not really who you want to jump on. It's not the same now. Get the 3-man coil and they get a black hole off inside. But not that he does fly. So it's a good start, but here comes Solo. Doesn't have better, but he has plenty of damage. And all he goes down. JT also loses his life, and it will be the third. In fact, making the fourth blind fire. He's been caught out of position with that Shadow Blade. He does not run out of sentry range in time. He's just on the staircase. It's going to be a fourth going down for AG, and that's going to be a free Roshan.
At least you have Kaka. You could try slipping in if he wants, but doesn't look like he will try. Gonna get free Roshan away with EHOME. That's gonna give them a lot more tools to kind of play it, but of course gives them a lot of leeway to Siler. And this aggression early on from EHOME has certainly paid off. On Siler to offer that violence to allow him some more space to get the right clicks off, more durability to play with, has really allowed EHOME to take over. IG's just waiting on a few too many tools, waiting for GT's BKB and Blink, and they haven't been giving him time to farm up. They haven't seen that black hole beyond that first usage top, and it looks like they really need that for the team fight. So give JT the space to finish his items, and then maybe start looking for fights. Before then, you're just not going to win.
Why drops the macro power off? Let's TBR, but Faith has plenty of damage. And this is getting a bit out of control now. 7-2 being fucking in it worth 20.5 minutes.
Middle tower is under attack.
I think just they don't have an answer.
You got a lot coming out from EHOME now as well. Like, you've got the Yasha up in silo, so he's got his Yasha, he's got his Dragonlance. He's a very, very hard to deal with. You don't quite have the magic damage, even with Emo. If like Emo, you'd expect him to do a lot more, but Siler with the mats can just purge off that silence amplification he's looking for. So you're not going to find that.
Where is that the magnetize top lane? I guess you know the remaining creep wave. Magnetize isn't too high of a cooldown anyway. Not too big of a deal, but it does go down. Mid lane, nothing safe, does almost get called out. JT, he would have had to commit that call straight away. He chooses not to.
Yeah, he's got to hold to that. Like, they need the black hole for bigger targets and bigger combinations. It looks like he does finish up his BKB, so JT's flying that on Courier does have his blink dagger net. So you're slowly coming to the point where the Enigma is going to be able to dig these shots, because the Ags on I can say is 3 parts away. Does have enough gold for the point booster. What else beyond that? That does mean your Enigma will have the control that you need. They just need to up around JT if they want that done.
bottom tower is under attack.
When you take a look at Fate Beyond on the Bristleback, he already has that head and halberd up. So
He's huge.
you don't have any way of even being damaged flying. Like he gets into dragon form, you get this arm off, and that's it. Like, you just can't do anything. It's getting rough. The high ground's already being sieged.
There you go now. All up to JT to find that massive black hole. And Emo can follow up with a huge chaos meteor. He's got it prepped. How can I make it easy though? So I'll easily slow siege with that metamorphosis, and you don't really have a blink to initiate here. However, they get a bit of damage off, and it looks like that'll be enough. Silent, he's at map, he won't be able to sunder, and the meta was wearing off anyway. So back off and back to farming. The game's gonna go their way if this keeps up. Like if you can just keep freely farming, drag out the game, you've almost guaranteed the win. So I want you to rush in. They have done nothing to say. It's going to be a very nice run to the park. They don't have anything else though. Why? Drops a nice iron farm after catching 3 of them straight off the bat. Tornado going to catch him out with the EMP now coming in. Why? I understand he's going to die here. That was pretty nice. Cardinal's still looking for more. Urge will be placed on the Earth Spirit. That'll be it. Faith beyond. Turtle does get out. Nice little win for IG, but they need a lot more of that if this game's gonna go their way.
It's a bit worrying that they've had this VK on JT for a long time without actually minting the black hole. They really just need to wait for that to take out. They are quite nicely around Fly. Like his Shadow Blade has really paid off. That's earlier on to catch. Necklace has given them a little bit more to play with. Of course, slow our puck's progression towards the Ags. That's the key thing. Because the moment the puck has Ags, your BKB on JT you saved up for is not going to give you it. Unless the puck's caught in the black hole, which honestly not that likely. You know, nothing to say has been playing very disciplined for the most part. So I think they have spotted out at BKB from everything he's been showing up. So they understand what they need to get. And EHOME just has to play it. They just pull back, they farm back up. Aegis does expire on Styler. So it's a little bit more time for EHOME to just relax here. They have enough gold to buy out the BKB on Styler as well. So there's really no control coming out from RG beyond that big goal.
There's the BKB coming out now on Emo. More immunity here on IG. Now on BT, that's big. If they could get a surprise initiation off here onto EHOME, they really could swing the whole time game. Even JT already queuing up a refresher orb, and this is going to be key. Like it really is up to this Enigma to carry this game for the side of IG, and they're going to try now. They do run into a smooth enough to say get the drink 1-2 straight away. With his own KB now jumping back on. He does open up. He's caught through with the Sunstrike, and now going to burst down Summer immediately as well as Cardinal. He goes down as well, but they're going to find Y on the Shadow Demon. It's looking pretty darn good for IG, but Faith down. He's a real problem right now. He just keeps moving forward. They do have a Spirit Vessel, but Carter died and he was the carrier. Still, Buyback is there from CQ. He wants to reach for the line, and in fact, Buyback's back as well. They'll rush on.
Oh man.
DK, they'll find the DK, I believe, with his cool sprays. And yeah, Faith, he does get it. Now going on to Ollie, who does TP out, but Faith, he does enough damage. He's hitting an absolute truck.
Oh, man.
Well, JT, he's been left behind. He hasn't been. He should be able to juke him out. I don't think Faith can actually reach him in time anyway.
Nah. And you know that is exactly what IG was looking for. Not the fitness initiation, and EHOME was a bit fast to drop that before. It's not Ags upgraded yet, but you would have wanted to really maybe disrupt that that the in the backline, preventing that blink. They didn't manage to do so. So IG did that control. They managed to burn through that terrible end.
Not have foil. It was committed, but Emo BKB through it, and Y goes down again. Emo really using his BKB quite effectively, but it doesn't mean it's down to an 8-second charm.
That's it's not the worst use of the BKB charge. Yes, still that does bring it down to 8 seconds, and it inching closer to the 5-second mark. Just something to watch out for. You know, they are relying on him as well to kind of keep his combinations off. That's going to be key for him to maintain that magic EP. Right now, EHOME is going to be, I believe, waiting out for one big item. That's going to be CDA Act. He is just about 900 gold off. I think you really had to disrupt JT at this point, because JT is just going to be setting the pace. IG's not going to fight until that black hole is up. They understand their game plan. They understand what they need to get on. EHOME is aware of it. They're just going to kick back. They're getting farm on power anyway. He does kind of take over this game. Number 2 in network, below Timo, but you have to remember, invest in the Midas to kind of reach that point as well.
Very true. It's like Amo's actually going straight into Bloodthorn he's picking up. It's got a Hyperstone and there's a Blood, I believe. Okay. People bought it up. Spent a bunch of gold. Let's stop playing. No. Let's start rotating as a team. This isn't the greatest time. There's back home now available. But let's together and make sure Solar does remain safe.
Just what I...
It's the Ags out for puck though. So I think that's what's giving them confidence. They do have up and running and nothing to say. They are ready to surprise IG this time around with that stun.
Hey, Smokey is there for me, huh? Oh, and Firefly. They spotted him for a sec, but again, where's the detection? Sentry is down, they can see Firefly. Make it fun. He's the target on Ice Path doesn't connect yet. And I'm just waiting for the opening they're looking for. That is a very dangerous position, JT. Pops his BK.
Oh man.
But False Promise will keep him alive. Still silent, getting so much damage off. I think JT's gonna die regardless. Wait. He's dead. Now, by Yard, unsupported onto the Oracle, and Ollie. He can get a False Promise, can't survive.
Man, I'm just really confused what JT was trying to get on there, because the rest of his team was scattered away. No one was in a position to follow.
There was no bounty room to collect, there was nothing. Although, Fly does manage to find the same with the help of Emo. So, a good pickup, but those couple kills that Emo did find, they do manage to claim the Aegis that and Silent will take it happily.
They did kind of reveal that Puck Ags, I guess. So that's something JT is going to have to kind of prepare himself for getting that black hole. But it's that little cock.
No disruption available, it's on cooldown.
He's fine. It is getting a bit tricky for IG. They have kind of given just a bit too much space away there. The Aegis and cheese for EHOME, of course, does mean that you're really gonna struggle to kill off here. Without cheese, that just basically means 2 loves a little base round.
I see Kiro kill. Nothing wrong with that. And looks like IG might start sitting up on that top T2 tower now. They still have the black hole, so they can easily go ahead and take it. But I don't think EHOME will necessarily want to fight. Like, they know it's short Aegis, but you've got so much gold and solar right now, you may as well just wait out the Iron Sky that you're looking for.
Dire's top tower.
Now he's got a whole gold. I don't think Solar's really made up his mind as to what he really wants.
Yeah, he's trying to keep it open, depending on what he sees the deal. So rich. Oh. for DPL, I guess. Like, no one else can kind of build into that Invis. You could, or if Beyond could, I think want to move from. So does give style or way of slipping out. It's pretty decent attack speed as well, and just kind of gives you much needed breaks. So you really melt through fly. I think the reasoning for that is, of course, the BKB on fly does mean that your box damage is not melting him. You're relying on the right clicks, and of course, DK is a very hard hero to right click to. So just having that added brick does allow you some leeway in trying to clear out that hero.
EHOME smoking up, feeling confident. This holding very slight but worth lead of 2k. Flying car. He gets spotted right now. He is there on fly. That's fine as well. They don't have that break yet, so Fly is their tank. Another false promise comes in. This one of an EMP fade Beyond will lose all his mana. Who has the cheese if he really needs it? IG not so interested in the team fight up against EHOME right now. I'm just gonna take it easy, wait for that perfect moment. The JT's not even around on the Enigma. They didn't accept the fact that the tier 2 move was going, and well, now Sala does have the silver edge, so they could try to make it to Fly. He does get scouted with the silver edge, and they know it's right now, so they back off.
Yeah, I don't think I should try to force anything yet, although they're running it now. They want something.
There's not really going to be much left. Everyone from EHOME has backed off.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Well, there are a couple of key items coming out for EHOME. The Abyss for Beyond is just about done. Does vibe out the recipe, so you're gonna have that in your Bristol. Nice piece of control on RBB, just to pile on with everything else. And IG some time to build up as well. Or seeing Fly save up for his. You're gonna have two ways of initiating or retreating on SDK. A lot more utility for him. And of course, you do have a lot right. Emo, he's had his and his and that does mean that, you know, once you get the deck out, you're not going to be missing her. He has a grace window for himself that could be enough to get all these back up. You know, have him as false promise, save Emo, which is a key part of the black hole combination. Just that invoker follow up. And it is just giving IG a little bit more space to try to hold out for the high ground. Again, it's just a 2k advantage for you, not the biggest lead. So IG does still have a lot of tools that they can slowly build up to here.
Both teams just taking it very, very slow. EHOME are still waiting for their opportunity to make the jump, but IG aren't giving anything. They're just playing very, very sneakily, taking the longest routes possible. Well, that does give time for JT to get that Lincoln Sphere up now. So even more protection for him on that Enigma. It's gonna be much harder to stop it.
I know.
That black hole's off cooldown for so long.
It has.
It's kind of like
I'm not.
make it suited. You just keep waiting.
I'm not sure about the Lincolns though. Like, you already have with the Ags, right? Like, and you had the BKB, so this added protection, I guess it's good for disruption. I suppose if that's been a worry, I don't think it's been a major worry for him for some try time anyway. So, for me, a bit questionable. You could maybe your Necrobooks instead if you wanted to shove out a lane, or have added presence, have added finding Invis heroes if you wanted, but we'll see whether or not this pays off. It does give them a little bit of ways of hiding from the worrisome SNQ chat demon anyway, or perhaps the Sunder block off. I mean, you have a Brisk back with Goo, right? That just pops it every single time.
That is very true. Now that you mention it, it does kind of feel like a wasted item here. Interesting. And he showed a little bit of aggression with positioning, but he ultimately avoids them altogether.
Oh, I mean, I guess EHOME right now is waiting out for the next Roach, perhaps, because the age did expire. So I don't think they want to take risks. They kind of do understand the position they're in. They just can take it slow, and the only real worry as you take it slow is black hole. So that black hole is always going to be relevant, but you already have the answer. It's just nothing to say to have patience. I think EHOME needs to retool how they initiate. They've been depending on, let's say, to jump in first with silence. You can't risk that against JT anymore. Well, they do smoke up.
Start making their way up. So, as you saw that he's just holding out. MP gonna be there on top. He will lose a fair bit of mana. Kaka doesn't really get the time that he wanted. You do get a stun off now onto Faith Beyond, but he's gonna start just moving forward onto Firefly. Up to save Dream Core, but it does not pick on anybody. So now he definitely needs back out of there. Aeon Disc is also popped on the puck. Now going to start moving forward inside of IG, knowing it's their opening. But EHOME is so quick to leave. If you have a Blick on Firefly, and he does have Dragon Tail available. Well, this has happened. There's a Scythe of Vibes now up on Emo. Fate. In the front line. Get the Abyssal off onto the Earth Spirit. Kaka, he gets his promise. Meanwhile, Emo in the backline's bouncing Q. He's not going really hard on Kaka. He's still alive throughout all this. Meta pop by Sylar going on the fly. JP still home, waiting for that perfect chance. Faith Beyond now just continuing on this Earth Spirit, but he's controlled by these tornadoes. Chaos Meteor on Faith. He's dropping fairly low, but not low enough. Nothing to say now. Another Dream Core will be thrown out on the two supports of IG, as they really want Kaka on that Earth Spirit, but they may settle for the Oracle, but no. He gets out of there. Kaka will be a sitting duck. He does go down. And JT, he never found the opening he was looking for.
Yeah, it's getting a bit painful for IG every single time. Like, in the end, they don't lose major beyond Fly. So you're not going to be too bad. You still hold. Can be about that threat. Maybe in the next Roche fight. Roche is up, so IG can't contest it. It's just that these fights are not winnable without that black hole. They just can't find the damage and control at the same time without JT's up. So they're trying to play conservative because the counters to that black hole are there. But EHOME has just been really too punishing with the movements. They've been really quick to find the right hero to kind of scout out. And that just means that JT is struggling really to land those black holes. They need to find a way to maybe catch the puck. Nothing to say he has been very aggressive, and that's something you can punish.
Roshan's going down. Tornado won't actually connect onto Sylar. He'll be fine. Kaka setting up for the roll. There is going to be the Dream Core drop, but it really caught Invoker. Now they roll in, but Sylar, he got the gauges. And with that, Kaka is going to end up buying now on the Earth Spirit as they start moving forward. Nothing's looking for more targets though. Hex is going to be there. Faith Beyond though. Gets the Abyssal on Emo, but he does have an Aeon Disc and will be safe. Sylar, Reflection has been popped. They're still trying to jump onto Emo. He's forced to BKB up now. Just run away. And even Kaka does buy back from all this. And out again gonna fly out. To be fair, Faith Beyond really has no mana, but he does still have the cheese available. So it's not all bad. They do roll on again. Magnetize will be popped by Kaka. But Sylar turn around with that tilt edge with the Ice Path. Goes for just continuing that Magnetize. Missile is going to be there on Ollie. Now the backup comes up. Is there follow-up? There is sort of disruption. Will save one. Why does survive and nothing to say got it out of there. And Sylar, he had an ace. So in the end, it's not. JT does die, and well, just one by one they're falling apart here at IG. This Firefly blinked, but he kind of blinked to the right. They do at least find the puck, but he will buy back. Nothing to say. He wants to get straight back into this team fight. Lifeline falling very, very low to this meta Silo, but he does manage to get away, but can't find now. Doesn't really want to die back like this. Macro has been dropped. Parker does end up dying back on the Earth Spirit. Zemo can start moving in with Fade. He jumps on JT. It's a die back on the Enigma. Emo is against the world on this Invoker. Blacklight does join, but he has no dragon form. He does find secure the Shadow Demon. He is completely surrounded net. The reflection, but False Promise will come out and save. Sunstrike will take down one in the back on the Jakiro and EHOME. It looks like they've had enough. Just a very back and forth kind of team fight. Lifeline, he has not had enough. He goes on to say that Thunder works against them, and now he needs to run away. A good pick up there from Fire. Silver Edge, but he is underneath the central. Chaos Meteor going to drop from Emo. That may be enough, and it will be. Tornado will not land on Beyond, but by himself, he does Abyssal going forward on Ollie, trying to find that Oracle, but the EMP going to drain pretty much all his mana. Oh, with help, but it's even harder. He really can't do much. Just run away. Sunstrike going to come in. They've got the damage for it. Faith Gun is also going to go down. It is a full team wipe for the side of IG.
It looked really wonky for IG at first, mainly because they had expanded that black hole on first life. In the end, EHOME just misstepped hard and loses out. IG, these pickups they had given them a lot of value. That sight on Emo just giving them so much more control than you expect. And that turnaround from Sylar to try to get the hits on the DK, not paying off. They had the touch and they dropped the gems. So they're going to be paying with a few racks here. And that might be enough to give IG a bit of an edge.
Seems to be it will be. Repair kit will be placed there in the tier 3 panel. He has the control to allow Chaos Meteor to drop as well. We'll decide the Vice, and then Shakiro will drop very quickly. Die back on Y. In fact, it's not even a die. He just doesn't have the gold for it. He'll have it soon, but they'll lose one Raps, and they'll more than likely lose two. In fact, maybe Mega's coming out behind. He is. I mean, you can defend this without your Bristol, without your Park. The Silen's up now on the Terror lane. He buys out a Satanic. That's two maxes down. IG, they will happily back out.
That's just a massive swing.
Oh, they have Black Hole. Love to find Silent Fly. He runs in there with Silver Edge. Oh, that'll be it.
Should really big way of IG again from those missteps. Clearing out the racks gives him a lot more breathing room. Gives him a 4K now, so you do see Emo build up. He is working towards. I believe that's his ads coming out now. So have a lot more potency on this Invoker, of course. But have this level 25. Just a massive nuisance that EHOME has to really respect. Like a lot of what IG's getting off is down to Emo. Beyond the black hole from JT, the Invoker is now a massive issue for them. They need to find a way to start these fights without tossing nothing to stay in front. It's just that he is their initiation. The puck is it. That's all they really have to toss in front. And the moment they commit that Dream Coil, it's an opening for JT, it's an opening for Emo. To just stand there and really lay it on. They have to have some patience here from EHOME to hold out in the Dream Core. Maybe just keep tossing Fate Beyond in front. You don't. At this point, you really should care about your rental back. So just have him be the distraction. If they don't fight, then push. You know, you just can't allow Fate to be in front. And once you're out of that tool, I think you can really take control.
What's the game plan right now? The teams are probably just gonna wait out the next Roshan. Everyone just taking it quite easy. Aeon discs coming out left, right, and center in these two. a quick look for the Roshan, but he does get spotted before he does that Shadow Blade of his. In fact, it's a split edge now. They're looking at Faith Beyond. Tornado will not land on Faith. Meanwhile, why? Called out, Sunstrike will be dropped, Firefly still alive, he pops his own BKB, Dreamcore will be there, does latch on, meanwhile Faith in the backline, spun Ollie on the Oracle, Thomas was already expended, but they would love this BK, he does blink out of there, pops the Silver Edge, is just going to make a run for it. So even though their 2 racks is up, they still feel very safe up against this EHOME side.
Yeah, I think it's down to how IG has to execute these fights. They pulled off pretty cleanly as well. So it can't afford to miss that. And the moment you lose the Oracle, you just lose that secondary, that 3-second life you have in hand with that hero. So just a lot of potency taken away from IG. This does swing it back towards EHOME. It's in 1K. So basically dead even for both sides, as you know, there's not much push opportunity for EHOME now. So they find those kills, they find the pressure, they are just forced to pull back and kind of farm up. And you really don't have too much room to grow anymore in Sylar. He does opt to buy a Demon Edge. So potentially the Divine, if you wanted to finish up later on, after maybe the buyback later, but could go for the KD as well if you wanted to. So you got that up, maybe even the Dayblade, right? They could possibly go that route. Leaving it open.
Why? Ice Path is going to be there. Ooh. Why? Firefly the cliff right now. Macro Power will not allow him to blink away. Now the rest of EHOME are making their way forward. EHOME will land on that cliff. Ringcore also being committed. Fly, that is a huge error to make right now. He thought he was safe above the cliff to TP, but Why spotted him out. Kaka will also lose his life, and he loses the gem on top of it. Where is that? Jimin is in a very awkward spot.
Oh no.
It's there?
I honestly don't know. I don't think they had vision in that area, so just stops by.
Doesn't matter anyway. We're almost 50 minutes into the game. Sure, EHOME could afford a gem if they wanted one. Plenty of gold across the map for them. So EHOME will start rushing towards the G base. There is a buyback available on Firefly, but he may need to commit. EHOME having so many Terrorblade loots to push with. Also, London picks the full Daedalus now as he's moving tracks, and they do force out the glyph.
Well, you've got the refresh on JT, so the double black hole is going to be there. So it makes it easier for JT to perhaps land what he needs to land.
EMP Dreamcore gonna be there on 2. The EHOME looks like just committing that Dreamcore to make sure there's no follow-up. Can stick around. It's 140 HP right now, but they do not want to waste. They don't really want to risk their lives just for the 1 racks. They want a lot more than that. Firefly is a little intimidating on the DK. They will back off.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be satisfied with at least taking the bot effect. There was some pressure from Fate Beyond. He does have the leveler on bristles, so he can melt towers, and he does. Gives him a bit more leeway with that 1 set of racks, so IG will poke up.
Dire's courier has been killed.
I'll take that.
A bit obvious though, they go for the courier and the Roshan kit. Does tell EHOME that they were there.
I think this is one way EHOME can really try to find those just kind of split up IG. Focus on one area, have Fate Beyond sneakily just right click whatever is exposed, and with this kind of build up on it, of course he can right click quite hard. That's definitely one way to get it done. As it's level 25 times as well, so plus 4 damage to Warpath per stack. Much more potent right clicks coming out from her Brittleback this game.
Fly. So the attack gonna come out on the bristleback.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Emo. Another courier. Bushan gonna be up now. There's posturing here for me. There's smoke again. Now he jumps in. Sala popping that banner straight off the Firefly, who is already dropping fairly low, but he pops no BKB. Firefly's just gonna man by as we do see the black hole coming out, and there's the cataclysm as well. Sala, he'll lose this life. He will bite back. Faith now, meaning to get out of there. Have the control, decides to buy stuff to stay. He'll jump back in with a 3-man dream coil. Macropie to be dropped on top of that. Faith, he drops it, but not low enough. And then now, Pipeline, he down wide. Hero down, completely to my back. IG, they have a choice. They can go rush off it. They can keep up the same time. In fact, they're gonna back off back to the base. His emo is anyway. Defend that bot lane that was forced in.
I feel like IG have gotten a lot more there. They should have known and are aware, of course, that Sylar, when he died and bought back, wouldn't have metamorphosis. So the third blade really just doesn't do as much as you'd expect. This is going to allow at least EHOME to maybe posture around Roche. Are being spotted out by that courier, so not going to be able to finish that up.
Radiant
Oh,
courier.
and stay.
Bit of Death Blast won't really land. Just a bit off.
Radiant are scanning.
The game's getting so late that CQ's got an against the drop now. You've got 3 charges of the Purge, which is a fair bit of damage, isn't it? Yeah, it's 1.5k damage if you commit all of them on one target.
Yeah,
So
it's
a bit of fun.
it's great control to go through that BKB. So I think that's, of course, going to be a major factor when RG does engage. Although, Faith.
Fine. Going after Faith. Oh, he stuck around. The Silver Edge is there. Karka also will have the Spirit Vessel of Knights of Shop. In the Shadow Beam, they put the Ice Path down with the EMP, but Faith beyond just taking all of it. Rollin won't connect. They force him out of the Chaos Meteor. Karka still trying to control them up as now the Ice Path comes from Y. Trying to help out this position 3 Bristle. And he will survive as now they look to turn. They can get Firefly with the disruption. Ice Path as well. If you're on top of him, there's a lot of damage right now. Firefly's in trouble. Dream Call on the back lines as well. Now the Black Hole with the Cataclysm. Gonna melt at least if it's JT dying. The Enigma dies of all things. Flies back immediately. Firefly and Kaka also die on the fight of IG. The Cataclysm didn't do anything. Now Emo's dead, and we're gonna see Ollie. Cool. What happened there, Joe?
Oh, I believe that was the Dream Coil on top, so I think they actually did manage to hold out. Was close enough. Drop that coil, and that did cancel the black hole right as they needed it. So, unfortunately for IG, they do buy back. They are going to lose out in the rush. They can refresh and black hole try again. Nothing to say.
Point out, Ice Path going to be there to help him out as Chaos Meteor comes in, but he does get away from that. In fact, a second Chaos Meteor has been used by Emo.
Yeah, that's massive. That's going to free up EHOME to get a lot more done. Of course, that Roche does give them the Aegis and Cheese, and I believe that was Roche number 3 or 4. So that should be something else on top of that. And refresh, it is going to be on Faith Beyond. I don't think you need to refresh the Cold Spray and Diesel, although I guess, yeah, I think that's
giving it to the park.
Of course. It's just... Have you ever seen that? Brickle using that? I think that would be really raging if you actually do witness that.
Well, I guess you could use it for the items, but still be
yeah,
pretty,
you could.
pretty
It's
bad.
when you have a puck with Dream though, right? Like at this point,
Of course. Of course you wouldn't take it as a bristleback. No. Have you seen it?
but you could. No, but you might see it. I'm sure someone might have seen it and gotten very emotional. A strong emotional response to seeing that happen. It made it just made me shake a bit with that possibility.
But once again, John, for the second game in a row, we're about to hit that 60-minute mark. Tier 5 items will be coming up. I love those Tier 5 items.
Oh yeah.
Top
What's that?
plane. High flight.
Oh, no.
DKB, but the Dream Coil will cancel it. He is all by himself.
Oh
Macro
wait.
fire. And he melts. No buyback.
Yeah, that's a back.
That's a very, very far forward position to be in. If you have no buyback available on the DK,
Yeah.
he needed to farm. He was trying to buy a rapier on the DK, just feeling like he had no damage. But now without the DK available, you've got no taking front line. It is literally all on JT's shoulders to hit that black hole, and Whip even has the follow-up.
Yeah, it's got a lot of pressure on JT, and he's got to land it. And he's got to buy time just to be here.
Got 2 chances. Refresher will be available for him. Emo's refresher still about 45 seconds away. Take Mega Creeps, looks like. Creeps gonna be there.
Oh,
Side device coming out to bait BR. Not gonna do anything. That's Megas. He's had enough of this game. Going in, though we haven't. Yeah, we had a Dream Coil, but it's in the fountain. So they're just holding them back. Commits another Dream Coil and just allowing the Ancient to go down. That's the way you win it to your EHOME. Fountain and commit 2 Dream Coils, but they can't leave anyway. And IG just leave the game.
Oh,
They
man.
can't believe what's happened.
yeah. It was a hard game for IG. They tried to go with the Emo Invoker, and unfortunately, it doesn't pay off. Went for the old school. I just still just took